Hello everyone, welcome to the Corner Library, here in a lovely sunny corner on a winter's day. And I'm recording this, as always, on Sunday, which is the 20th of July. And I'm uploading it for you tomorrow on the 21st of July. So, a little bit to get through today, so let's get on with it. I hope you've all been well. I hope you've had a lovely week and you've enjoyed your reading or your resting or walking or whatever you've been doing. I hope you have enjoyed it. It really is a sunny day here today, so I hope it's not too sunny that you can't see the video, but I'm fairly sure I've positioned it correctly. Okay, let's get on with it. I have a bit to get through today. We do have a number of books that I want to discuss, or not discuss with you, but to show you from one of the publishers. And there are a lot. So I want to get through those. First off, this week, I read The Book of Secrets. This is by Anna Mazzola. Now, this is fiction, but hardcover. Love the cover. If you can see, there is a book with pages, mushrooms and skulls, and it's a really lovely cover. Now, I bought this, I think I bought it from a Melbourne independent bookshop, but anyway, it doesn't matter. I bought it last year. This is, I think, 2024, the publishing, 2024 by Orion Fiction. And, okay, so it is loosely based on a true story that happened, it occurred in Italy in the mid-1600s. Now, from memory, I think this begins in 1659, this story. It is fiction, but it's based on a true story. Yes, in Rome, 1659, we begin our story. I thoroughly enjoyed this. It is definitely one for your TBR pile. So we're in Italy, we're in Italy, and we have a number of, they've just come out of, not long come out of a epidemic of the Black Plague. So there have been many, many deaths, and they've just come out of that, and now there are a number of deaths that have been put down, not necessarily to the plague, but perhaps the after effects, like malnutrition or just accident or what have you. But we have our investigator who has been charged with the task of investigating these now what could be considered mysterious deaths, particularly of a lot of men. That's all I want to say. I thoroughly enjoyed it. As I say, it is based very loosely on a true story that occurred in Rome in the 1600s. It shows you it's not just about the investigation or about the mystery or the murders or whatever they are. It is also about how women were treated in that period in Italy and, of course, across the world anyway. But how women were treated, how they were perceived, how the law saw men and women. I really enjoyed this. I really, really enjoyed it. I recommend it. It's not just the murder mystery, although it is that. And it's also written from various the perspective of various characters. So our investigator and a couple of the women. This is really good, and I recommend it. Now, it is around about, I think it was around about 350, 360 pages. A really good read, and I recommend it. That's that one. Now, another one I finished this week, which is, by the way, Anna Mazzola is an English writer, but I do believe she has Italian heritage. So she has written a couple of other books. I think The Unsettling is one of her novels. Let me just see. The Clockwork Girl, The House of Whispers, and The Unseeing are her other novels. But this is really good, and it has encouraged me to read the other novels of hers. Now, the next one, these are oldies but goodies. I have recommended these before, but I read this one this week, and it's the first in the series. This is Canadian author Alan Bradley, but he sets the characters and his stories in England. And this is a Flavia Taluchi mystery. Now, Flavia is an 11-year-old girl in England with a family. She is extremely intelligent. She's really eccentric and really intelligent. Her mother has passed away. She lives in this home with her father in the 1950s, with her father and a couple of sisters. Now, this has been made into I think a series quite a few years ago, but there is whispers, or more than whispers actually, that it's going to be made into a movie, and that the series will be made into a movie. Now, don't be put off by the fact that it's an 11-year-old girl. This really is a very older young adult to adult novel. And please don't think that she's precocious or anything like that. She's just an extremely intelligent, extremely witty, extremely forthright young girl in the 1950s. I loved this, and I cannot wait to read the rest in the series. I did actually, I know I read this quite some time ago, but I'd really forgotten about it. And then when I came across on my in my bookshelf, I decided to read it again and had forgotten all about it, and I just absolutely love it. I think it is brilliant. It is definitely for adults. The wit is adult. She is charming, not at all precocious, not at all pretentious. She's just a really intelligent, witty, charming, not naughty, but a little bit mischievous. She's lovely. I really, really, really enjoyed this, and I recommend it. There are others in the series. I'll just tell you, they're on the back here. It's The Weed That Strings the Hangman's Bag and A Red Herring Without Mustard. Available all over the world, available here in Australia. I bought this one from Abby's bookshop, I think last year or the year before. Although, as I say, I'm fairly sure I read it a number of moons ago, in not this particular book, but I'm fairly sure I did, and enjoyed it then from memory. But definitely this read reignited my passion and my love. In fact, I don't even remember it being as good the first time round. So perhaps it was I don't have the original copy, so perhaps it was just a similar novel. But anyway, the fact is, I absolutely love this, and I will be reading the others in the series. It's brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant, so I recommend that. Okay, now, one thing I did do, which is really strange, last weekend I put in an order with Tea Leaves and Reads in the UK. Many of you will know that I've been ordering from Tea Leaves and Reads for a while now. We've had a couple of boxes of books from Tea Leaves and Reads. Their customer service is exemplary. They have sprayed edges, signed copies, hardcovers, absolutely brilliant. And oftentimes they have their books or a number of books on special, which by the time you pay postage here in Australia, the book turns out to be cheaper or comparative in price to what we would get here anyway. The only difference is that a lot of these books you can't get as a signed copy or with sprayed edges or hardcover. So my decision, when I see these books on Tea Leaves and Reads website, I decide to buy them, regardless of the cost of the post, because, as I say, it really tends to meter out the cost of the book comparative to what we get here in Australia anyway. So this is the bookmarks that Tea Leaves and Reads put in your order, and They come in 4 different seasons. This one I think is summer season, I think. Anyway, that's those. Now, what I did do, just because I ordered them quickly last week, they had a sale on some of their books and they were really cheap. They were the hardcovers turned out to be around about $10 a book. So I bought these, and you will not believe it, I bought them and paid for them last weekend. Tea Leaves and Reads had them packed and sent, and I received them on Friday. So in 5 days, they were packed and sent and delivered to me, all the way from England. So, for those of you who enjoy Alexander McCall Smith, I bought these 2, A Time of Love and Tartan and A Promise of Ankles. These are from the 44 Scotland Street series. If any of you know, Alexander McCall Smith has a number of series. One is, the most famous is the #1 Ladies Detective Agency. We have Isabel Dalhousie, I think. That's a detective series. There's also, the Corduroy Mansions series, which is, there's only a couple of books, I think there's 3 in that. I love that series. I have all 3 books here. They're brilliant. I really enjoy them, but I also enjoy 44 Scotland Street, and I don't have all of them. So I bought these. These were only a couple of £1, which turned out to be, I don't know, around about $5 or $8 or something here in Australia. They are paperback, but I'm looking forward to reading them. If you enjoy Alexander McCall Smith at all, any of his series, I'm not as enamored with the Isabel Dalhousie series, but I do love Corduroy Mansions. I love the #1 Ladies Detective Agency, and I enjoy 44 Scotland Street. So I do recommend those, but they were a great buy. Oh, one that wasn't on sale is Stacy Heels, Now Is Not the Time for Flowers. I bought this because it was rather poignant for me. This is, for me personally, this is a non-fiction. It is about Stacy's husband is given a really, well, he had a terminal illness. He actually had bowel cancer stage 4, and they were given obviously not a good prognosis. He subsequently passed away. I think he was diagnosed in around about 2017, something like that, 2016, and he died in about 2020 or 21. Anyway, this is her ability, or her, I don't like this term because it's used often, but her journey, because that's what it is, through the grief and the loss, and deciding what's real and what is important. So I decided I wanted to read this. It's about love as well. And I decided I wanted this. So I paid full price, which again, I think it only ended up to be about $25 or something Australian. It's a hardcover. And so I'm looking forward to reading that. 2 of my favourites. Now, this one I have been wanting. This came out this year in 2025. It was published this year, but it was advertised last year, and I was really looking forward to it. And Tea Leaves and Reads had it on special, so I bought it. It's a hardcover. This is by Lila Kane. Now, Lila Kane is a pseudonym for 2 authors. Let me get their names correct. The first one, of course, is Kate Griffin, and I've read a few of Kate Griffin's books. She's a brilliant writer. I really enjoy her writing. But the other one, I think this is her first in collaboration with Kate. She does have, here we go. Her solo debut novel, The Mercy Step, is due for publication in 2025. And the author I'm talking about is Marsha Hutchinson. She's worked as a lawyer before founding an educational publishing company, Primary Colours, and was awarded an MBE for services to cultural diversity in 2010. So we have the 2 authors there, but Lila Kane is the collaboration of these 2 authors, and this is their pseudonym. I love the cover. Absolutely love the cover with the gold sort of chain or rope. And we have the pendant silhouette, classic sort of Victorian style pendant with a beautiful fan and the blackbird and the greenery. It's absolutely beautiful. And then on the end papers, we have an old map of London from the 1800s. This, I will give you a little bit of a rundown on this. It's 1782. Daniel and his sister Pearl arrive in London with the world at their feet and their future assured. Having escaped a Jamaican sugar plantation, Daniel fought for the British in the American War of Independence and was awarded with freedom and an inheritance. But the city is not a place for men like Daniel. He is callously tricked and finds himself, along with Pearl, in the rookeries of St. Giles, a warren of dark and menacing alleyways filled with violence and poverty. And there it goes on. I'm really looking forward to this, everyone. I have been waiting for this. I cannot believe it was on special because I would have bought it anyway if it had been full price, but it was on special and I could not help myself. It is signed by the author, by the way, so I'm guessing they've signed one part of the name each. Maybe not. Maybe they've just assigned one of the authors to do all the signing. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to that one. You know I love my historical fiction. Now this one is really unusual. Again, it was on special. This is The Turn Glass by Gareth Rubin. It is signed by the author. So we have the signature in there. Nothing particular on the end papers, it's just plain. But this is called The Turn Glass. And we begin here in the 1880s. The story begins in the 1880s. So we see the cover on that, which I think is lovely. But we turn it over and this is the 1930s. So we have the book beginning on this side, turn it over, and we have this part of the novel beginning here. So they're upside down. They're upside down and face about. I cannot wait. It's the same story. I believe it doesn't matter which way you read it. You can read the 1930s first or the 1880s. They are the story intertwined with two timelines. I can't wait to read this, everyone. I think this is really an exciting idea for a novel. Cannot wait to read that one. So that's that. Excited. Now, we are going to go through these quite quickly. I'm not going to tell you anything about them. What I am going to say, as I read them, I will let you know if I haven't already. Some of these I have actually read, I think one or two, maybe a bit more, I have read, and I've shown you those already. But I want to go through because Echo Publishing very kindly send me these books to read and to promote or tell you honestly what I think. And with all the other books that I read throughout the week, I really don't want to miss these because some of them have already been published, some of them, or they're all published, but some of them have already been released and some of them haven't. So let's go through them. These are all Echo Publishing here in Australia. Let's go. Right, The Wrong Daughter by Dandy Smith. This is on the night when Caitlin and Olivia's parents leave them to go to a dinner party. Both girls are full of excitement about finally being old enough to stay home alone. What they don't see is the figure watching them through the open window, who, after the girls have fallen asleep, will turn the handle of the unlocked back door. So that's that one. You all know, I spoke to you all about this a few weeks ago. This is Dr. Deborah Dank's Terra Glossia. Absolutely brilliant. I recommend it. It's Indigenous author, Indigenous story, true events. So that is absolutely brilliant. This is by Dandy Smith. Again, this is One Small Mistake. This is Elodie Frey wants to be more like her sister Ada. When she decided to quit her job and pursue her dream of becoming an author, she thought it would be her time to shine. But a year on, nothing has happened and she's getting desperate. One small mistake, one deadly consequence. So that's that one. This is Micah Moore. This is non-fiction. This is News Cowboy. This was the News Cowboys. It was the nickname the reporters and camera people at 7 Networks Los Angeles bureau jokingly gave themselves as they headed off on assignments. Not knowing what to expect and often unprepared for what they found, it was a way of coping, of not taking too seriously what was often deadly serious as they witnessed some of the worst moments in recent world history. So non-fiction, and it is about a journalist story. In fact, I think Micah Moore is Australian. He is Australian. I'm 99% sure on that. He is, isn't he? Fairly sure. Anyway, if I'm wrong on that, I'll let you know. But I'm fairly sure Michael Moore is Australian. Okay, the next one, Best Left Buried. Neil A. White. This is a Mark Latham thriller. Begins in 1986 and we come up to 2022. In the jungles of Nicaragua, a tiny village is the target of a deadly attack by US-backed Contra forces. That looks really good too. This one, Linda Marrow, The Bridge to Always. This is Maeve Gaffney arrives in a small West Cork town in pursuit of a dream, to be reunited with Tim, the lad she fell for years ago and who, unbeknownst to him, fathered her daughter Emir. So that's that one. The next one, P.A. Thomas the Sunbaker. This is when overworked forensic pathologist Nicola Fox arrives for a long overdue break at her holiday house in Brunswick Heads, on the New South Wales coast, Australian. She's shocked to discover someone sunbaking on one of the sun lounges in her backyard, and that the sunbaker has been dead for some time. So that one looks good. Karina Parker, Flavia. This is in the dying days of the Roman Republic, a remarkable woman steps out of the shadows and beyond the boundaries imposed on her sex, driven by an unstoppable ambition. I think a lot of us will know the story of Flavia, but that's that one. And Lee Gordon presents How One Man Changed Australian Life Forever. Post-war Australia didn't know what to make of promoter Lee Gordon. To some, he was a typical Yank, crass, loud and outspoken, focused on just one thing, making money. But to others, such as rocker Johnny O'Keefe, Lee Gordon was a mentor, a guru and a lifeline to the big time. So a bit of a biography there. And the last one from Echo Publishing is Gunpowder Creek, Alex Duke. This is Friday, 1:30 p.m. Emily Barnes is finishing work for the week, ready for a break from her laptop. Then she receives a panic voicemail from her son, Zach, punctuated by a gunshot. So these from Echo Publishing, every single one of them are either, I have read them and they are fabulous and worth a read, or I can't wait to read them, to be honest. I don't think there's one there that I'm not particularly interested in. They all have either been wonderful or are wonderful, or look to be a really good read if I haven't read them already. So that's it, everyone. That's Echo Publishing. How many books have we got there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 from Echo Publishing, and of course my wonderful books from Tea Leaves and Reads. Now, Tea Leaves and Reads are taking international orders again, but please contact Catherine on their website first before you do, because there is a specific way that you need to order and then pay for the postage separately. So please contact Catherine first to make sure that she is not under stress, because her husband, William, is still recovering from an illness that occurred earlier this year. So please do the right thing and get on their website and have a look at their wonderful books, but also just ask Catherine in an email first if it's okay that you order, and then once you've done that, she'll let you know how to order. So that's it, everyone. I recommend the Flavia Taluchi mystery and the Book of Secrets. They were both fabulous this week, and then I can't wait to get into these others over the coming weeks. There are some exciting things happening. Again, I have them in the pipeline for Australian book travels, but really for this channel, for the Corner Library. So I'm looking forward to that. And I haven't started the new chicken run yet, but I will do that perhaps in the next week. I'll at least start, and I will film it as I go along, and I'll just let you know when I pop it the footage on the end of these episodes so that you can just see the progress. But everyone's doing well, and yeah, there's nothing, touch wood, there's nothing too exciting that's happening here. It's just lovely. We're just coasting along. This week's a busy week. I am travelling to Melbourne. I may try to take you with me. I am going to a few bookshops, so perhaps next week we'll have a little bit of footage from that. I'm going with a friend, actually. We're catching up, which is lovely. And yeah, there are bits and pieces. The two boys, the two dogs, Arthur and Rooney, they do have to go to the vet tomorrow. Arthur has ear problems, so we think he's going to need a little bit of an operation. And Rooney has a problem with his mouth somewhere. We're not too sure what it is, but there is a distinct bad smell coming from his mouth region, and we're not exactly sure. He is... we took Rooney on when he was around about 3 years old, and he hadn't had any boundaries or any sort of education, and he has taken us all this time. He's quite reactive. He was very reactive with other dogs, and it was a nightmare to train him. But I am, in my past, I used to show dogs, and I also used to compete in obedience trials. So I did a lot of obedience or dog behaviour and worked with a lot of dogs. And so it has taken time. We've just had to really be quite careful with him. One thing that we haven't been able to get over with him is he's quite body protective. So if you go to grab him on the collar, he can react quite nasty. If it's very quick, if you don't do it in a particular way. And also he is not happy with you going anywhere near his mouth. So I fear that we may have to anaesthetize him, and then the vet will have to anaesthetize him and then have a look at what's going on in the mouth. I can have a look basically, but then once he has had enough, which is usually just a few seconds, then he reacts, and it escalates very, very quickly. So rather than setting him up to fail, we always like our animals to be happy and to feel that we're not invading their personal space unless they want us to. Not that we have our own boundaries as well, but we just, particularly in this where he is a rehome, we just don't want to set him up to fail, and we don't want him feeling as though he's failed. He's been with us now for 4 years, and he has he's changed incredibly compared to what he was when he first came. The last time we took him to the vet, they could not believe the difference of how much happier he was. He was a dog that when he came here for the first 12 months, he wouldn't smile. And for those of you who know dogs, there is a way that they express their happiness. There are a number of ways, actually. But he would not smile. He was very stern, and he had a closed mouth all the time. And so now he smiles, and, his tongue lolls out, and you can tell that he's happy and he's settled. He's also put on a stack of weight. He's probably tripled in size. He was underweight. That is not necessarily the way he was treated. The people that we rehoused him from, they were very kind people. There was no abuse. He was just that type of dog who did not put on weight readily, and he was constantly sick. He would constantly vomit up the food that you gave him. So there was an issue there. I now believe that was an emotional issue. I won't go into it, but he did have a few emotional issues in the last house. There was a marriage breakup and all of that sort of thing, which affects animals deeply. And he was passed from home to home too in the first 3 years of his life. So I think being here, being settled, knowing that Mark and I are family and that this is his home, he has absolutely stacked on the weight, which is wonderful. He's not overweight. He's a really good weight, and he is much happier. But we just have these issues where he doesn't like you grabbing at him. He flinches if you touch him and he's not expecting it. And also he has this issue, he can't fuss with his mouth a lot. And yet in other ways, he's surprisingly really tolerant. I mean, I shave the dogs, I shave various ears and things. And having never been shaved before, Rooney is more tolerant than Arthur, who has grown up since, we've had Arthur since he was just between 8 and 9 weeks old, and Arthur's not as tolerant as Rooney. So, you know, each dog, each animal, we all have our own personalities, don't we, and our own little foibles and quirks. But yes, so the boys have to go to the vet, and I'm going out to Melbourne, and Mark has a few things that he's doing this week with work, so it's a busy week. All right, everyone, I won't delay you anymore. I hope you have a lovely week. Enjoy your reading wherever you are. Do think about putting those on your to-be-read piles. Every one of these books, I can genuinely say, look to be worth the read or are worth the read, and I can't wait to get into reading some of those that I haven't already read. Okay, have a wonderful week, everyone. Take care. Bye for now.